Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Making It Big. I'm your host A.B. Ravi. Sometimes you wonder why two brothers hailing from the same business family or two toppers from the same college do not meet with the same kind of success in life or in business. One brother or the student is a runaway success and makes it big, while the other one is nothing home to write about. A few would attribute this to lack of killer instinct or X factor, but most would say that Lady Luck was not benevolent. But S.K. Jindal, the man who built Jindal drugs from scratch, is loath to using the word luck. He says, and I quote him, "Luck is the weapon of a weak man. When he is unsuccessful, he blames his fate for it. That's wrong. There is no such thing as luck. What's important for a man to succeed is hard work," unquote. In very much keeping with his philosophy, this son of a poor farmer traveled all the way from Haryana to Mumbai some 5 decades back to seek his fortune in the chemicals business. But it was not easy. It took him some 22 years to master the chemicals trade before he found his groove. Today, Jindal Drugs, which makes mentha oil and cocoa product, is a major supplier to all the marquee brands globally and locally. Take a look at Jindal Drugs' story and you'll know that the only person who can guarantee your success is you.
For somebody who is pushing 77, he is agile, razor sharp and sure-footed. It is these qualities that have helped the indefatigable S.K. Jindal build a formidable position in the mentha oil and cocoa products businesses over the last 3 decades. His brainchild, Jindal Drugs, set up in 1982, manufactures mentha oil and its derivatives at the 12,000-ton Taloja plant located on the outskirts of Mumbai. Mentha oil is derived through steam distillation of Mentha arvensis leaves that are widely cultivated in the semi-temperate regions of Uttar Pradesh, parts of Punjab and Bihar. 90% of the company's products are exported, and these find their way into items of everyday use like toothpaste, pain balms, shampoos, chewing gums, lozenges and household cleaning products. Essentially, anything that has a cooling effect has mint in it. World over, the demand is for natural menthol, and this has seen Indian farmers, the main producers, increase their area under cultivation by 10 times to 45,000 tons in the last 2 decades. Yet, there is a demand-supply mismatch, making it lucrative for MNC giants like BASF to annually produce 6,000 tons of synthetic menthol, which is also relatively cheaper. Here, Jindal Drugs is among the top 3 players in the world, enjoying around 22% market share. The company's other profitable line of business is producing cocoa powder, cocoa butter and industrial chocolates at its J&K plant since 2009. Here, it is a clear number 1, selling 80% of its output locally to companies like Cadbury's, Parle, ITC, Kellogg's and GSK, to name a few. Headed by Jindal's second son Vijay, this plant, with a capacity of 30,000 tons, is growing at a faster clip.
The biggest challenge is sourcing of materials and the transportation, the logistics. Cocoa is a very sensitive product, and we have to be very careful about how we get the material in and we deliver the goods to our various customers. On the raw material, we have to ensure that we follow all the norms which are there for phytosanitary, and on the finished goods side, we have to make sure that all our transportation and logistics are in line with the requirement of the product itself in terms of either heat or sensitivity.
Interestingly, S.K. Jindal is betting only on agri-commodities to grow his business. This is borne by his homespun strategy to do business only in areas where he has the domain knowledge and make products where inputs are non-accessible. And this strategy has made Jindal Drugs not only a zero-debt company but also produced good results. In the last 5 years, the company's turnover has grown from 536 crore rupees in FY 2010 to 933 crore rupees in FY 2014. The net profit during the same period has jumped from 46 crore rupees to 94 crore rupees. This good performance is seeing private equity players eagerly trying to quote it. But it was not an overnight success story. To hark back in time, Sri Kishan Jindal was born in 1938 at Sui village in the Bhiwani district of Haryana. The family subsisted on agriculture. After studying till the 8th standard, he moved to Delhi to stay with his elder brother and completed his schooling. That was 1955. In 1960, his brother, who was trading in chemicals, asked Sri Kishan Jindal to move to Mumbai's Vadgadi market, which is the nerve center for the chemicals business. Thus was sown the seed of his current business. However, within a year the brothers fell out and young Jindal decided to strike on his own. And he did. By 1964, he was earning 600 rupees per month by importing chemicals like hydrosulfate and caustic soda. In 1966, his elder brother rejoined him. By 1968, he was thinking big. So he and his friend Mahavir Prasad Gupta pooled in 5 lakh rupees to acquire United Daichim's 13 acres factory at Dombivli, located on the outskirts of Mumbai. Here they made rhodamine and auramine chemicals which were used in the paper industry. The first turning point of his life came in 1972 when the government announced the advanced licensing policy. This gave a big boost to Jindal's export business. Between 1972 and 1982, his trading and manufacturing businesses were growing from strength to strength. Then, the unthinkable happened. In 1985, his elder brother walked away with Jindal Dye Chem, which had a turnover of 10 crore rupees, and left SK Jindal, holding Jindal Dye Intermediates, which had a turnover of around 2 crore rupees. It was a financial setback, but Jindal was not perturbed. Within 5 years, Jindal Dye Intermediates business grew to 12 crore rupees. During this time, he shifted from the 375 square foot office at Masjid to the 1600 square foot office in Maker Chamber 6 at Nariman Point. Then came the second turning point. In 1991, his elder brother parted ways with Tian Yuan Chemicals, which was sourcing mentha oil from India. Jindal seized this golden opportunity by forging a 50-50 joint venture with this Singapore giant. They readily agreed for a joint venture of 3.5 crore rupees to set up a new factory at Taloja. Though the honeymoon with Tian Yuan was short-lived, it did not make any difference to Jindal, as he had arrived by becoming India's leading exporter of mentha oil. This emboldened him to diversify into the pharma business by setting up a 250 crore rupee vitamin C plant. So accordingly, the company's name was changed to Jindal Drugs, and 65 crore rupees were raised via an IPO in 1995. But China dashed Jindal's pharma dream. They crashed the international price of vitamin C to $6 per kg from $18 per kg. Jindal, whose production cost worked out to $9 per kg, was forced to shelve the project and return investors' money. This decision cost the company 25 crore rupees. This setback forced the Jindals to concentrate on the business which they understood well, mentha oil. By 1997, the business had grown 10 times to 4,000 tons from 400 tons in 1992, and the turnover had crossed the 100 crore rupee mark. In 2005, taking advantage of the Jammu and Kashmir incentive, Jindal bought 6 acres to set up mentha oil and cocoa plants. And to get a toehold, as also to understand the nuances of the cocoa business, they entered into a strategic alliance with the Karnataka government-run Camco. And by the time their J&K plant was ready in 2009, the Jindals had become a formidable player. Today, this 200-employee, low-profile, well-insulated company has indeed arrived. On that note, it's time for a short commercial break. When we come back, CNBC TV 18's A.B. Ravi chats up with the founder S.K. Jindal and Managing Director Ajay Jindal to find out what is unique about their business. Also joining us on the show will be Sandeep Uppal of HSBC to give us the banker's perspective on Jindal drugs. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Jindal Drug is a zero-debt company which is intensely focused only on agri-commodities business. I caught up with founder S.K. Jindal and his son Ajay Jindal at the new plant at Taloja on the outskirts of Mumbai to find out why they're betting only on agri-commodities business. This is what they have to say. Take a look. Mr. Jindal, Ajay, Sandeep, welcome to the show. Mr. Jindal, if I may begin by asking you, during your trading days, you dealt with all kinds of chemicals. Then what made you bet big on mentha oil?
जब भी मैं ट्रेडिंग करता था तो इंपोर्ट का ट्रेडिंग करता था, इंपोर्ट कर करके मैं एक्सपोर्ट लोकल बेचता था। उसमें मेंथा ऑयल भी एक बड़ी आइटम थी मेरे लिए। जब मैंने देखा कि इसमें कुछ ज़्यादा रखा नहीं है ट्रेडिंग में, तो मैं उसको डाइवर्सिफिकेशन करना चाहता था। डाइवर्सिफिकेशन इस तरीके से किया कि मैंने डाइज की फैक्ट्री लगाया, उसमें मैन्युफैक्चरिंग शुरू किया और ट्रेडिंग पैरेलल रखा मैंने। करते करते दाल रोटी का बंदोबस्त पक्का हो गया।
गुड वन।
तो दाल रोटी का बंदोबस्त हो गया तो मैंने और ज़्यादा डाइवर्सिफिकेशन सोचा, क्योंकि मेंथा मेरा पहले से काम था। तो मैंने मेंथा की ट्रेडिंग की 1990 में 2 साल मेंथा की ट्रेडिंग इस तरीके से की कि मैं लोकल परचेज करता यूपी से और उसको एक्सपोर्ट करता, क्योंकि ग्लोबली मेरा शुरू से बिजनेस था। क्योंकि जब मैं इंपोर्ट करता था तभी भी मैं यही ख्याल रहता था कि कहाँ किस कंट्री में कौन सी चीज़ सस्ती मिलेगी और यहाँ उसको अच्छा पैसा मिलेगा। तो मेंथा ऑयल भी मैंने एक्सपोर्ट करना शुरू किया, क्योंकि मेंथा ऑयल जो लोग इंपोर्ट करते थे फॉरेन में, वो लोग भी उससे क्रिस्टल बनाते थे। फिर मेरे दिमाग में ये आया कि क्यों ना हम भी क्रिस्टल बनाएं, तो फिर मैंने मेंथा की फैक्ट्री स्टैब्लिश किया।
लेट मी गेट अजय। अजय, योर होल बिजनेस इज डिपेंड ऑन द फार्मर्स ऑफ यूपी एंड बिहार. If for some reason they decide not to cultivate mint, what will you do about it? Where you outsource your raw material? Because 80% and 100% of raw material comes from these two states.
Menthol is like part and parcel of development of any progressive country. Today, more than 2 million farmers are in cultivation of mint in Bihar and UP. Why? Because of the demand of this product globally. The product, when we started in 1990, was selling at 150 rupees a kilo. The peak was almost 1500 rupees a kilo in 2012. The reason that the prices were going up or continuously going up is the main motivation to the farmers to continue to cultivate mint. The land kept growing in UP and Bihar. Mint comes in between Kharif crop, which is wheat, and Rabi, which is rice.
It's an intercrop.
It's in between crop. Between this window, there is no other crop a farmer has. So mint gives a boost to their income of UP and Bihar. 6 million farmer families are supported by this mint product. So I'm not really scared that this product will, I will have sourcing problem of raw material. Yes, I have logistic problem. I have to collect mint oil from 2 million farmers. That's my challenge. But growth is not my challenge.
Your fear is that the farmers will cultivate some other seed, is not your problem?
It's, yeah, they may
Is
from
there a
year
fear
to
that-
year, they may from year to year reduce and increase. If they see a bonus price, next year you will see a bumper crop. But if you see a reduction in price, you'll see some farmers going out of it.
That's also, I guess, protected by the fact that India is the only producer pretty much of natural menthol globally.
The world.
So that itself will ensure that if production comes down, the price goes up, which will bring the farmers back into the game.
Okay, now let me get to the core issues of your company. Your company had several setbacks, but I'd like to talk about the 1995 IPO, where you raised 65 crore to set up a vitamin C plant, which you formed. Then after a period of time, you decide you won't get into the business. So why did you not get into that business, and what was the lesson learned from there?
In 1995, when we were like at the peak of our mint business, menthol business, at that moment, Dad decided that, let's diversify. Dad is very progressive. He wants to always be progressive, be global. His vision is always global. So vitamin C was very dear to our heart. This project was very dear to our heart. And we invested a lot of manpower and a lot of money to establish this project in India. At that moment of the time, the price of vitamin C was $18. The project cost was roughly 250 to 300 crores in 1995. Okay. Huge money at that time. So we went for an IPO. It was quite well accepted in the market. We generated 65 crores from the IPO. But then suddenly, China decided to crash the vitamin C market. From $18 in say span of 6 months, the price dropped to $6 a kilo. And this made our project completely unviable. We sat in the family, Dad said, should we go ahead? We've already spent a lot of money in the project. Should we go ahead, or should we take a bitter pill? He said, we should not shake our foundation by, going ahead and leveraging ourselves so much that you don't know, 2 years later, China may decide to make the product $3 a kilo, and our RMC is $6 a kilo, $7 a kilo. So at that moment, we decided to shelve the project.
So what were the lessons learned from there?
One lesson was learned that to go big, you should take little experience before that and understand the market and the global scenario. Look at the pros and cons in detail. Do not underestimate any country which, has no profit and loss account. And, with this experience, when we established the cocoa plant, we made sure we take step-by-step, progressively investment so that, we do not make the same mistake what we did in vitamin C.
Okay, let me get Sandeep in. Sandeep, you all heard the promoter, the chairman and the MD, the first person account. So what is your take as a banker when you listen to their stories?
I guess I would describe the strategy as show-footed. There is a clear strategy you can see, which comes from starting with the knowledge of chemical, getting into menthol, manufacturing, dominating that strong manufacturing base, developing B2B with marquee names globally, and then diversifying into cocoa, although there was the vitamin C in the middle project, but if you see, that was show-footed because they said we'll do it, but once they realized the risk, they stepped back and went into cocoa. And intuitively, although they stuck with the knitting of commodity, processing, B2B, but from a banker's perspective, I thought it brought out a very good dimension into the business and kind of de-risk the business because the two are very different. Menthol is agro-India exported. Cocoa is imported where they don't have to manage the farmer aspects which they have to manage in menthol. So from our perspective, you can see that what was largely an export-oriented company became quite a balanced export and import-oriented. Thus, in case the global demand slows down, they still have recourse to the Indian market or vice versa. So I can see a very show-footed strategy in play, Not 1 year, 5 years, but over the last 3 decades.
Okay, let me get Mr. Jindal in. Do you believe in luck?
नहीं.
Why?
लक जो है ना एक कमजोर आदमी का हथियार है. जब वो चलता है अनसक्सेस होता है तो वो समझता है मेरी किस्मत में ऐसा ही लिखा था, लेकिन वो गलत है. लक जो है ना कुछ चीज़ नहीं है. हमेशा आदमी के लिए सख्त मेहनत, ईमानदारी, वही एक सच्ची सक्सेस है.
Very well put. Mr. Jindal, what are the ingredients for success in business?
सर पहला सही सोच होनी चाहिए.
Okay.
उसके ऊपर सख्त मेहनत होनी चाहिए और बीच में लड़खड़ाना नहीं चाहिए.
Okay.
और ईमानदारी से काम करना चाहिए. और जब तक आप जो भी गोल बनाए सही सोच से, वो गोल जब तक मिल नहीं जावे तब तक आप लगे रहना चाहिए.
Okay, Mr. Jindal, thanks a lot for being on the show. Ajay, Sandeep, yes, thanks for being on the show. Well, that was SK Jindal and Ajay Jindal, both crystal clear about the business vision and strategy. These are the mantras Jindal implemented to build the company. Don't venture into a business without proper research and experience. Identify a goal and work towards it. Don't give up on your goal halfway through. And finally, be focused, be honest, and work hard. Well, Jindal does not believe in luck or God. That honesty is what appeals to me the most. He has clearly walked the talk. Here is what steel tycoon Lakshmi Mittal says about success, and this fits SK Jindal very well. I quote him, "Hard work certainly goes a long way. These days, a lot of people work hard, so you have to make sure you work even harder and really dedicate yourself to what you're doing and setting out to achieve it." Unquote. On that thinking note, it is time to say goodbye. See you next week with another interesting episode. Till then, keep watching CNBC TV 18.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.